25 years ago, with a little wooden hut for a studio and the equipment of the day, an enthusiast began taking nature pictures. The result today is the formation of Gaumont British Instructional, from whose library of classroom films the following excerpts are taken. All these films are produced under the supervision of such well-known educational experts as Dr. Julian S. Huxley, biology, Professor Winifred Cullis, physiology, Professor E.J. Salisbury, botany, Mr. R.A. Watson-Watt, physics, Dr. G.P. Gooch, history, and the geography panel of the British Film Institute, geography. First, The Plover, a film for quite young pupils, and a splendid example of the power of the camera in bringing nature into the experience of even the town-bred child.
The plover is a cautious bird and never approaches her nest directly, but always in a zigzag manner so as to deceive any enemies that may be watching. When she reaches her nest, we see it's rather a poor affair, just a slight hole scratched in the meadow with a few pieces of dried grass thrown in. She looks round very carefully before she finally settles. And now comes the job of arranging the 4 eggs comfortably beneath her. As her mate is on guard overhead, she can give all her attention to the job in hand, and it takes a lot of fidgeting and pushing the eggs with her bill. And when she's got them settled all right in front, they've got underneath her feet at the back.
And now a cutting from a hygiene film, Circulation, an object lesson in the use of the diagram for educational pictures.
To see more easily how it all goes, let us look first at one side of the heart only. The arrows indicate the blood flowing from the veins into the left side of the heart. The auricle is now contracting and emptying its blood into the lower part of the ventricle. The ventricle contracts and the blood tries to go back into the relaxing auricle, but is stopped by the valves which open up like an umbrella. The ventricles contract and force the blood out into the artery. Cup-shaped valves prevent the blood from going back into the heart. Now, watch this happening on both sides at once. And remember, blood comes into the heart from the veins and is pumped out from the heart into the arteries. Look at the real heart beating. The movement you can see is made up of the contraction of the auricles at the top of the heart and of the ventricles at the bottom.
This time, let us show what the speeding up of growth can do for us in the field of botany.
In this diagram is 1 grain of pollen from the stamens of one thistle floret left on the inside of the stigma of another. Now the pollen puts out a tube which grows down the style. In real life it goes much more slowly than this. The pollen tube grows down and penetrates the ovule inside the ovary. The contents of the pollen grain unite with those of the ovule and enable it to develop into a seed. The ripened ovary is then called a fruit. While this is happening, the flower head has faded. Petals and stamens have died and the down is growing. Each ring of down has developed from one floret and is still attached to a fruit. The down gradually grows until on a dry day it spreads right out like a parachute and pulls the fruit away from the flower head. If you watch, you can see this taking place.
And now to a film for advanced students, the Cathode Ray Oscillograph. Note how the perfectly timed commentary merely directs the attention.
These are the main features of the cathode ray oscillograph. Cathode ray is the name given to the beam of electrons, and it is the most nimble indicator that can be devised. But there's still one great drawback. We can't see it except in the dark. To get over that difficulty, the end of the tube is coated on the inside with a chemical which glows when the beam strikes it. We also fix a screen so that the eye can concentrate on the tube. Here's the spot of light formed by the beam striking the chemical, and as the beam moves up or down, so the spot moves also. If we connect the plates to a very slowly alternating current, this is what happens. And when the frequency increases, you get the effect of a line of light. So here's a third indicator to try out against the needle and the mirror. Out goes the needle, but the other two keep on. We're nearing the limit of the mirror galvanometer. It's beginning to fail. It's gone. The cathode tube, you see, remains unperturbed even by a frequency of 10,000 cycles per second. We can take it further still. As far as 100,000 cycles per second, and still it keeps on, and will keep on at frequencies far higher than this. By eliminating weight almost entirely, we have at last got an indicator which will follow electrical changes at a speed to satisfy the almost fantastic demands of radio research.
Next is a section from Coal, a regional geography film of the coal lands of the Midlands. This section deals with shot firing, the first operation of which is to drill a hole in the coal face with an electric drill.
They're going to make an explosion in that hole, so all inflammable coal dust has to be cleaned out. Next, the man in charge makes a test for the presence of gas. This gas is called fire damp, and it was formed when the coal itself was formed millions of years ago. It's a high explosive and terribly dangerous. In this case, there is no gas about, so he makes up the charge by pushing an electric detonator into the powder cartridge. He puts it into the hole with the detonator wires hanging out. Then he rams a mixture of sand and clay hard into the hole. By this means, the charge will be prevented from blowing straight out, and the effect of the explosion will be spread through the coal all round it. Then he couples up his electric cable to the detonator wires.
I'm ready for firing now, Jim. Clear up the face. I'm ready, Bounty. Clear up into the gate. I'm following you.
He has left the cable fastened to the detonator wires, and it runs along the face looped up out of harm's way. He has the other end which he fastens to the exploder. Ready?
Fire!
Here is a selection which demonstrates how the camera can show correct methods in sport, observable by no other means. The crawl is the fastest of all strokes in swimming. Note particularly how breath is taken and exhaled. Every complete stroke, and always on the same side, the head is turned just sufficiently to bring the mouth above the waterline. Then a breath is snatched. Exhaling is done underwater. Here is a common fault in connection with breathing. Instead of just turning his head for breath, this swimmer is rolling his whole body. This causes loss of speed. Look at this leg action. The hands are purposely not doing the correct stroke. Note how every third beat is a deep one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice there is no stiffness in the limb, especially at the knee and ankle. The heels just break the surface. Finally, a scene from one of the physical education films illustrating the Board of Education syllabus, and made primarily for teachers by a British Film Institute committee.
A rhythmic trunk bending sideways. Hips still, bend well over.
Bend straight to the side. Not forward like this, or leaning back like this. But straight to the side. Shoulders square to the front, feet firm, and knees straight. The bend should be here.
Over, 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 over. Exercises taken with a rhythmical swing must be well-timed, free, purposeful.
And now the door has closed upon your view of the selection of an extensive library of educational films. You can obtain all details, both of films and portable equipment, from GB Equipments Limited.